Hi guys, happy Sunday. So if you missed my post from I think yesterday, go back and check them out. I posted a new power hour, which is like just a daily list of behaviors that we should be doing every day in order to grow our business. As I mentioned in my post, that is what grew my business. Doing that every single day is what grew my business consistently every day. That is still what I do every day. Obviously, now that the team and stuff is a little bit bigger, I do a few extra things, but that should be your main focus. If you want to have a successful business, if you want to start earning an income, write that in a notebook, copy and paste it, download it in your phone, whatever. Set an alarm and do those things every single day. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. So I posted, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, about the group that Autumn's running. So you had about a month to qualify to get into the coach test group that Autumn Calabrese, like creator of 21 Day Fix, 80-Day Obsession, that she is putting together. So in order to get into it, you had to sell an 80-Day Obsession challenge pack or completion pack, I believe. So I don't know if any of you are in that, but I know a lot of you aren't. So what I'm going to do, I don't know how long this group runs for, but I know every week she has a killer lineup for guest speakers, like a lot of top coaches and stuff like that. So I want you guys to be able to take advantage of this. So I'm going to, every week when the video is posted, I'm just going to do a Zoom, share my screen, and record it for you guys. Now, keep in mind, like, I'm taking the time to do this. Like, the video I'm going to show for you right now, it's an hour. Yes, it's a little lengthy, but break it up. Watch 20 minutes one day, 20 minutes the next, but make sure you watch them. I'm taking an hour, like, my computer I can't use now for an hour because I'm gonna, record this video for you guys, because it's stuff like this, you guys, it's free training. You can never honestly stop learning with coaching. There's always things you can learn and try and whatever. But you have to be constantly growing and learn what, new coaches are doing and what, you kind of have to keep up with the times. It doesn't mean that you need to change something. Like, if something's working for you, don't change it. But that doesn't mean you can't try new things. And learn. Like, you've always got to be learning. It's just like any job, you've got to, learn kind of what's happening, anything new, exciting. Anyway, so the video I'm going to share with you is the first video that was posted. I think it was last weekend, and it's actually from, I'm drawing a blank. Autumn's sister, Callie. I think it's Callie. I might have that wrong, but Autumn's sister, who I didn't even know she had a sister until 80-Day Obsession. So it's an interview with her, because if you guys didn't know, Autumn's sister is a coach. She hasn't been coaching that long. She's actually a new diamond, which is really awesome. And she talks about being a new coach and some of the struggles that she's gone through and how she overcame them. You guys will want to watch this because I think this is something we all are guilty of. We come up with excuses as to why we can't be successful or why we're not successful. We compare ourselves to other people and all of that stuff. So I love this video because she talks about how when she joined as a coach, everyone just assumed she would have it easy because she's Autumn's sister. When in fact, it was super hard for her because everyone that was following her and reaching out to her and stuff was already part of Beachbody. So she just talks about how she was really discouraged in the beginning and how she felt like, everyone already had a coach and blah, blah, blah. And then how she overcame it, how she didn't quit, how she kind of got to where she is now. So whether you're a new coach or been coaching 20 years, watch this. I guarantee you guys will learn something from it, take something away from it. So yeah, I'm just going to share my screen. So I'm going to do these every week. I'm pretty sure every Saturday or Sunday, Autumn does a live interview with a coach. Like I said, there are some awesome coaches in the lineup. So I'm really excited to be able to share this content with you guys. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here while I do this. So I'm just going to play this through. Like I said, this video is an hour. So I'm going to go, I'm going to eat, do some other stuff. And yeah, can I enlarge this? Yes. Some sound would probably be good, right? Again, like, I don't expect you to sit down and bang out an hour video all at once. Make it your personal development for the week. Watch 15 minutes every day. Why not? Put it on your speakers while you're driving.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Obsessed with Coaching. So here we are live for the first coach interview. I'm really excited. It's Sunday. It's the day before the actual group starts. We start tomorrow, Monday, April 23rd.
Oh, I thought the group had already started. So it started this week, last week. Sorry, I'm a little behind on the video. I'm pretty sure she did this video when we were in Mexico, because the room, like where she is right now, it looks like our rooms in Mexico. So this was, I guess, just the video gearing up to the group. The group started last Monday, so the day I got home from Mexico. There hasn't been another guest speaker yet, so maybe it's going to be every 2 weeks. I'm not sure, but either way, whenever an interview is done, a training is done with one of the guest speakers, I will share it with you guys. So I'm done talking now. I'm going to press play, record this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please post takeaways, questions, anything like that below. Enjoy.
With day one of 80-Day Obsession. So the interview is going to happen today. And I'm really excited about the first person I'm interviewing. I was very strategic in who I picked and the order I put them in and everything. And so we're actually starting off with Coach Kaylee Calabrese. Yes, that is my older sister. And
oh my God, okay, last thing. Kaylee, not Callie. I was close. Okay, I'm leaving now.
No, I'm not playing favorites by making her the first coach. Lean in here, Kaylee. The reason I actually picked Kaylee to go first, to be the first person I interviewed, is because she's a new coach. And I'm going to let her tell her story a little bit more in a second. But she really had to struggle to find her way as a new coach, which a lot of you new coaches are probably experiencing right now. So I feel like she's a really fantastic resource to talk to answer your questions and to talk about all the things that you're going to have to overcome and how to get started. So I guess, Kaylee, let's take it away. First of all, hello. Hi, guys. So my first question for you is, go ahead and turn it towards me a little bit so people can see. You had a lot of what I'll reference as false starts with becoming a Beachbody coach. So let's talk about that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so
yes, we are still at Success Club. We have no voice, so I apologize about that, but go ahead.
Yes, we've been talking a lot. So I actually signed up to be a coach 4 years ago.
Yes.
I think when Fix Extreme came out, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Put it on you. Go ahead. You're talking.
Right.
Put it on
My
you.
arm's shaking from the workout earlier because Autumn kicked our butts. Okay. So I signed up 4 years ago. But I didn't sign up like my first actual coach under me until this October. And basically I started and stopped every time Autumn launched a program. She'd launch a program, I'd be like, oh yay, Mrs. Strauss's awesome new program, I'm gonna promote it. And I'd promote it, and then for various reasons, every time I quit. So there we go. Okay, making it harder on myself.
Yeah.
And you know, it was always a different reason, whether it was this is too hard, or I don't have the time, or I'm not getting people, or you know, oh, I need to focus on my kids, or whatever. There was always a reason. I started and stopped and started and stopped. And probably one of the biggest things I learned from that is like, I can look back on it a little bit now and go, man, I wonder where I would have been if I hadn't quit 4 years ago. Or I wonder where I would have been if I hadn't quit 2 years ago.
Don't quit on yourself when it's hard.
You guys, because what did I have to lose if I kept going? Like, so maybe I would have had slower growth periods, but they still, you know, when you start over, it's so much harder. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So it's just like with your wellness journey and your fitness journey. When you completely stop, you completely have to start over. It's a lot harder to get going than if you just, maybe there's a period in your life where you slow down and then, you know, you just pick back up.
Okay, I love that. So I want to make a comment on that really quick because it is so true. All of this stuff always applies to multiple areas of your life. If you quit, you have to start over. There will be slow periods, just like in your fitness journey. There will be times where weight is falling off of you and everything is flowing beautifully and you're super excited. And then there will be slower times. And those slower times tend to be the times where people go, it's not working, I'm quitting, it's not for me. and it is for you, being healthy is for you, or if this is the path and helping people is something you want to do, that can be for you too. It doesn't have to be, gung-ho, 100%, signing up new challengers every day, all day. There will be ups and there will be downs. So that is an important thing to remember on your journey. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So honestly, like if I'd helped one person a month instead of 5 or 10, but over 4 years, how many people would that have been that I helped? And now I had to start over. But here I am, and this time I've learned the lesson. I am not quitting. I don't quit on myself, and I'm not quitting on the people that I am working to help. So I'm in it, and I'm in it for the long haul. And that's one of the biggest things. It's like you have to put your mind in the right place starting out. Like you have to go into it saying, I'm in it. I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to show up every day and commit to certain actions. And that's going to look a little different at different periods in your life. But it's all about consistency and just keep going.
I love that. That's really important. Like she said, it's all about the long-term mindset, because you guys, if you think about it like this, if you were to open a business, like if you were to open a restaurant or a storefront, no business opens their doors expecting to be in the black, as we say, meaning in the positive, in the first 6 months to a year. You have to make an investment into your business, which means you're going to spend a little money and a lot of time before you get a return on your investment. It's the same thing here. You can't expect to just be like, bam, out the door, I'm making thousands of dollars every single month. Like, you get excited about the $50 paycheck. You get excited about the $100 paycheck, because every one of those paychecks, no matter how big or small, represents another person that you have helped. So I love that. I love that long-term mindset of like, if you're going to choose to do it, it's not a quick fix, just like fitness isn't a quick fix. You're in it to have a business, even if it's a part-time business. That's cool. Like, nobody's saying you have to do it all full-time, but you have to have the long-term mindset about, I'm just going to help people. And for however long it takes to get that going, that's what I'm going to do. So I really love that. Okay, what is my next question? Oh, here's a good one. Okay. Because as I sit here interviewing my big sister, people are probably thinking, yeah, but you're Autumn Calabrese's sister, so it's so easy for you. And could not actually be further from the truth. And I know this because Kaylee moved from Nashville to Los Angeles about a year ago. And when she moved to Los Angeles, her and her boys lived with me for about a year. And we filmed 80 Day Obsession. And it was in the middle of 80 Day Obsession that Kaylee really started to sort of dial into her business. And the more she dialed in, because I was like, you're going to do this. You're going to be a coach. I promise. You're going to be successful. And the more she dialed in, she'll tell you.
I was so frustrated.
She was so frustrated. She'll tell you why in a second. But she would come home and she'd be like, I just have to get a 9-to-5 job. And I was like, you're going to hate your life. You are not a 9-to-5er. You're not built to be. You haven't been a 9-to-5er in years. Like, you have to fight through it. But what were you experiencing that was actually making it really frustrating for you?
Okay, so, and this is like throughout my journey of coaching, everybody would be like, oh, you're so lucky. You're Autumn's sister. It's going to be so easy. You guys, the only people that followed me on social media were people that already followed Autumn, which meant they're already in Beachbody. They were coaches. They were challengers who had coaches. And I had this growing Instagram following that you would look at and go, oh, okay, like, hey, I should be signing people up. I should be reaching a bunch of people. Yeah, reaching a bunch of people who already had the product that I was offering. And so it was like every day I was getting these messages from people, and I was spending time talking to people and putting the time in and being like, oh, you should try this program, blah, blah, or what are your fitness goals, or what are your challenges? And I'd make this investment in time, and then I'd find out that they were a coach, or they already had a coach. And it's not that I didn't want to still help them answer their questions. It's just that, like, from the perspective of, okay, I'm newly single mom with 2 kids to raise and take care of, and I'm like trying to decide if I'm gonna do this coaching business, and I'm investing all this time and energy, and I'm not getting anywhere. At least that's how I felt. I'm not getting anywhere. I can't find new people. And I kept telling Autumn, like, it's saturated. I would say that. Everybody's already doing Beachbody. It's saturated. Okay, I was wrong. I mean, I can admit it. I was super wrong. But I had to figure it out. And that's what it's about. Like, I had to go, like, okay, I'm willing to work through the hard. Like, this low-hanging fruit that everybody thinks I have, that this is like going to make it so easy for me, is not productive for me. It's not going to help my business. There's still conversations that I had and all that, but like, I had to go out and figure out how to find the people that were going to be my tribe eventually. And that ended up being a big part of my personal journey just in my life, in my 80-day obsession journey, was kind of finding like, who am I? Who do I want to be? What kind of coach do I want to be? And then how do I share that in order to attract the people who I can help the most and who will connect with me and want to go on this journey with me.
So what I want to dig into is that right there. So what were some of the things that you started to do to, again, not because you wanted to turn away anybody, but obviously people already have a coach or they already are a coach and you need to find your business. So how did you start to find your tribe to start to grow? Because you came to me today and told me you have how many coaches as of today?
I think I have 45 now.
Okay, you guys literally, Kaylee would be like, I can't hit diamond. I haven't hit diamond. I feel like such a loser. I'm your sister. I can't hit diamond. Blah, blah, blah.
I was emerald for like
a long time.
A ridiculous
A long time. So, and you're hearing why? Because the initial people to reach out to her were already involved in the business, and that is okay, and that might happen to you too. So, tell us some of the things that you started to do that helped you find the new people. Because you guys, the weight loss industry, the obesity epidemic is in the billions. The market is not saturated. There are people out there that need what we have and want what we have. So tell them.
That's so true. So, okay, first, one of the things I had to first learn and figure out is that I spent all this time watching these amazing Beachbody coaches and Autumn and thinking like, look at them excelling in their business. They're doing so great and trying to be them. So I was like looking at everything they're doing and like trying to duplicate it, which there are really great things about following people that you look up to and that inspire you, but you can't be them. Like you're never going to be them. And so it was so hard.
Which is good because you can only be you and that's the best person to be.
Yes. It was so hard because I was like, nothing came naturally. Like everything felt like a fight. Like, oh, what picture am I going to post? What am I going to write on it? What would, I was trying to like be Autumn or be like Melanie Mitro or be like whoever. And it's like, if you're not being yourself, it's not coming from your heart. Number one, people aren't going to feel it. They're not going to feel you. They're not going to connect with you. And number two, you're going to struggle to get it out because it's like, it's not my message. Who am I? What do I want to communicate to you? It's like, I was thinking about what do they need to hear? What might help me sell a challenge pack? What's working for this coach over here? And so I was so in my head and just overthinking everything. And I guess part of my journey of just kind of like hitting rock bottom in my life and stopping caring about what everybody else thought. Like I was so insecure and I would worry about what were people going to think of me if I said this, or well, could somebody misinterpret that? What if I offend somebody? And just so in my head about everything. And then finally I had to be like, I'm going to be comfortable just being me. And I think 80-Day Obsession did really help me with that. And even like the weekly obsession, because we were being interviewed and all of that, I started to learn to get comfortable with just sharing who I am, vulnerably, authentically, and sharing my struggles.
Okay, tell us.
I thought I had to have all the answers, you guys. I thought if I wasn't perfect, if I wasn't a perfect coach, perfect on my nutrition, perfect on my workouts, and saying all the perfect stuff, that people wouldn't respond to me. And what I found was the exact opposite. Like when I shared how I messed up, where I failed, my shortcomings, my struggles, like the real life, that's when people were like, oh, me too. Like you can do it, then I can do it. And that's when my business started to grow.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell us where were you sharing it? And maybe give us one or two examples, because I know I have a few in my mind of your examples that I'll mention if you don't mention them. Okay. But tell us where you were sharing it and sort of like one or two things that you were sharing.
Okay. Well, in the beginning, I was mostly sharing on Facebook. And then I found that like the platform that actually worked better for me was Instagram. So I would share on Instagram, but I didn't use my story and I never went live because I was uncomfortable and I didn't really know how to do it. It was kind of a big thing just for me to do a selfie. Like I would always be like, oh, people want to see a picture of me. That's so weird. And I hated it. I was just really uncomfortable with it. But I would do a selfie or I would take a picture of my food. I did lots of food pictures because that was easier. That was more comfortable. I was like, here's what I'm eating. I would take pictures of like my workout equipment, but not myself working out. And I'd post them in my feed and I would just say like, this is what I ate, or this is the workout I did today. But there wasn't really a lot of emotion behind it. There wasn't just a lot of like really giving people true insight into my life. And so I started by getting a little more vulnerable in my newsfeed on Instagram, like sharing pictures. And I think going through my divorce, like, and starting to just kind of almost treat it a little bit like a journal. It was kind of like I committed to posting every day instead of like once a week, which is what I was doing in the beginning, when I would have like a brave moment. But I committed to posting more often, once a day, and I got up to like 3 times a day. And then I started to just get real and kind of, like I said, almost use it a little bit like a journal. Like, here's what's going on in my life. And people started to respond to that, and I started to get more comments. And as I started to get a response, it helped me grow in my confidence. And as I started to see, like, people would share, like, oh, that really spoke to me today, or oh, me too, I was going through that too. And it started to feel a little bit more like a community. And I started to see that, like, people could benefit from what I had to share, even if it was like I didn't know what I was doing. And sometimes I got great advice from other people too, and you start to build a community that way. But
I think that's great. And what I want to point out, I just want to elaborate on that really quick. So what Kaylee's saying is obviously she was starting to share her story more and more. And this is really important. So this is something that I have learned. You can't just put the post up and walk away from the post. The post is the initiator, okay? So you put the post up and then all these people make their comments on it, right? Like, me too, blah, blah, blah. You need to go back and check your post so that when somebody says, me too, oh my gosh, how did you handle that? Well, whatever, you can direct message them. You can follow them back. You can message them and be like, I'm so happy my post spoke to you. It doesn't have to be a long, big invite to them at that particular moment. It's about making a connection to them. So when people start to talk to you in the comments, you need to go back and talk to them, because that's how you're building your tribe and that's how you're building your community. So I love that you're saying be authentically you, like, be inspired by others, let that lead you to your own authentic self and putting that out there. But once it's out there, you can't just hang it out there and just be like, well, I put it out there, nobody direct messaged me saying they wanted to sign up for Beachbody, so it didn't work. It's a step-by-step process. And I think for a lot of our new coaches, it's not, they just don't know that it's a step-by-step process. Like, right, they're again, like, they're watching somebody like me or somebody who's been in the business for a really long time and thinking like, well, they're just getting direct messaged all the time with people signing up and that sort of thing. And it's not. Everybody has to build their way. So this is just one way, but sharing your story and really sharing your authentic self, and it has to be where you're comfortable with it. So like, you don't have to put it all out there all at once. You don't have to put, if it feels like drama, you don't have to put it out there, but you can say like, I'm having a brave moment. I'm going through something really hard and I really didn't want to push play on my workout today, but I did it anyways. And actually, you know, the endorphin rush felt good. Or you could say, I cried through the whole workout. It was a crappy workout, but I did it because I knew I needed to do it. And watch what happens. Watch what people post. And then when they, like I said, when they comment back, go back and message them. Yeah. Those are your new people that you want to reach out to. Those are your people that will eventually, hopefully, become your tribe. And even if they don't become your tribe tomorrow, they might become your tribe. They might need to stand back and watch for a week or a month or a year. But eventually they might be like, I want to do what you do. Like, I want to do the workout that you do, or I want to coach like you. I love that you help people. So I think that that's really amazing. I'm gonna put the phone back.
Yeah, and that's why you have to think about, like, I think for me too, it was about like, it was kind of like a desperate situation a little bit with, okay, I'm a new single mom, I need to take care of my kids, I'm not gonna get a 9-to-5 job, I'm gonna do this. And so I like had this a little bit of mentality in the beginning where it was like, okay, I need to like make money. So I would try to figure out, how do I make these posts like a call to action to get people to like click on a link and buy something and sell, so that then I would get a paycheck. And you can't just talk at people, and you definitely don't want to just sell to people. So it's like Autumn saying, if you're just putting up a post and being like, here's my inspirational news for the day, or here's what my day was like, and then you're not talking to anybody, you're not building a community. And that's what this is all about. You can't help people just by pushing information out at them. There has to be a level of engagement. So I spend 10 times more of my work time, responding to messages and responding to comments and reaching out to people who have liked or commented on my posts and engaging with them and starting conversations. And that's where all the good stuff happens. That's the meat of my business, at least.
So I have another question for you. So I'm going to switch it just a little bit. So let's say you do get to the point where somebody's asking you about what you do and you start telling them and you get the no, or you get the I'm not ready, right? So for a lot of newer coaches, getting the no it feels like rejection.
Yeah.
I put it out there, they said no, and you step back, okay? And you're like, oh, no, that one, mark that one off, they're not interested. So as a new coach, because I'm sure, like I said, that's a really uncomfortable feeling to get a no. How do you handle that? What have you done with that? And yeah, just elaborate on that for us.
Yeah, so getting the no, especially in the beginning, feels a little bit like a punch in the gut sometimes, because you're like, oh, I was vulnerable, I put myself out there and they didn't want it. Like that, it feels like a personal rejection. I had to learn that it's about where they're at in their journey and what they're ready for, and to just be patient with people. So I think a couple of things, like, first of all, I found over time of being in this business, a huge percentage of those no's become yeses down the road, just by continuing to do what you're doing, continuing to engage with them, not pressuring them, just continue to interact. Like, they don't necessarily stop talking to you because you asked them or invited them and then they said, no, that's not for me right now. Like, they were following you and engaging with you for a reason. So that usually continues. I like to tell a story about my cousin Danielle. She, when she first started her health journey, she did 21 Day Fix in one of my challenge groups, and she would do the workouts, but she didn't want to do the nutrition. And it was always like, I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to eat. I'm not good at cooking and recipes like you guys are. And I was like, well, you don't have to. Let's just do this one thing. And then I was like, okay. Anyways, long story short, she's 2 years into the journey. She's become an amazing cook because she just started trying. And then, so one day.
There's also the Fix It Cooking Show.
Yeah, well, she used the Fix It Cooking Show, and so it helped her. Yeah. And she got the cookbook too. So, yeah, and you learn by doing, right? Like everything else. And then one day she was like, always in my groups encouraging everybody else. And I was like, you're so encouraging. You have such a great story. Like, you really rejected so much of this process, but then, like, she kept working to change her mindset. She stopped saying, I don't know how to cook, and just started saying, I'm gonna cook, things like that. And I was like, you would make such a great coach. And she, like, immediately wrote me back and was like, oh, thanks so much, it's such a nice compliment, but no. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I just, you're awesome, you're inspiring. I just wanted to let you know. About 3 weeks went by, I got an email. I was thinking about what you said, and I'm like, I really do love to encourage people, so maybe you should tell me more about this coaching thing. And now she's running her own challenge groups. She's got an amazing Instagram account. She changed the name of it a couple times, so I'm going to post it for you guys later so you can follow her, because I can't remember what the new name is because she just changed it. But anyways, long story short, she was a no to the workout. She was a no to the nutrition. She was a no to coaching, and now she's a yes to all of it. So number one, like, people will become yeses when they're ready. Number two, like, if they say no too, they might just not be your people, and that's okay, because your people are out there. So you just have to keep going, keep looking for them, keep reaching out, keep interacting with people. So, and then the final thing is, like, what do they say? It's like 1 yes for every 10 no's. So a lot of times people say, think about it, like, every time you get a no, you're closer to a yes.
Yeah. Well, and that actually reminds me of a story that, where'd it go? No, we're here. Okay.
Oh,
I was like, we lost it. It reminds me of a story because when people when people ask me about my journey or how I got started, and obviously I grew up as a dancer. I liked to be the center of attention. I do. I won't be shy about that. But I remember, you'll be surprised, actually. I don't know if I've ever told you this, because I was sitting in your house in Nashville. Okay. The second house you guys had.
Yeah.
And I was, like, sitting on the floor with my nephew, and I was flipping through a magazine, and it was an article written, and I don't remember the actress that they had interviewed. It might have been Demi Moore. I really don't remember the actress. But the article was about being told no. And basically the whole point of the article, and the thing that stood out to me, was, what's the worst that can happen, like, if you ask? And the response was, someone will say no. And I remember that article resonating with me so hard. I mean, I was probably, like, in my early 20s, and I remember being like, yeah, that's so true. Like, okay, you're embarrassed for a minute, or it hurts for a minute, but like, you're not gonna die. The world's not gonna end. Like, what's the worst that can happen if you ask for what you want? The worst that can happen is somebody will say no. And if you politely say, okay, great, no problem, and move on from it, somebody else will eventually say yes. And you guys, if I would have taken the first no I got on my journey, I would never be here where I am. I got hundreds of no's. I pursued the entertainment industry for years. You guys know my story about being up to replace Jillian Michaels on The Biggest Loser, like 4 months of auditions to come down to the final 2 people and getting told, Anna Kournikova got it, not you. Like, there were so many no's, and it doesn't mean I didn't cry. It doesn't mean I didn't get knocked down. I just got back up. So as a new coach, or even as maybe you're like, look, I'm not only speaking to new coaches. Yes, I'm interviewing Kaylee, and yes, she's a newer coach. So this is sort of directed at our newer coaches, but this is directed really at anybody, because at any point in your journey, you can hit a point where you start to struggle. You can hit a point where the business model changes, and all of a sudden you feel like a new coach again, and you have to figure it all out again. And if you start taking those no's personally, or you let that no stop you, then that's it. You've lost because you've stopped. I said it today when I was on stage teaching my workout. I said, you can't fail unless you quit. It might be slow, but the only way you fail is if you quit. So don't quit on yourself. I think that's really important.
And that was me last month, honestly. Like, so we basically were coming to the end of 80 Day Obsession, and we were finishing, you know, the round with everybody. And I struggled to hit Success Club last month. And I had been like hitting it pretty easily, like in the first 2 weeks of the month, every month. And then all of a sudden last month, I was like, I can't get there. I can't get there. What's happening? And I was like, I knew it. It was just the momentum of 80 Day Obsession launching, and now my business is going to crash. And I started getting all negative in my head.
Oh, yeah, she was super fun to be around.
And I was like, well, I'm going to have to get a 9-to-5 job again. I mean, for like a day, maybe 2 or 3. But then I was like, okay, Kaylee, change your mindset. And I was like, I said I was in this for the long haul. There's going to be ups and downs. I'm having a rough month. What can I learn from this? And then I also had to stop and look at what I was doing. You guys, I wasn't putting the hours in last month, okay? I wasn't doing what I did the months before that. And I had to get real with myself and be like, oh, I'm struggling this month because I didn't put the work in this month. And it's like, okay, I chose whatever. I started dating someone. I chose to go out a little bit more. I chose to go on a trip. I started to have a little bit more fun. And then I was like, okay. Then I went to him and I said, guess what? I have office hours now. These are my office hours. And I reined it back in. And this month I've doubled my Success Club points, like almost my highest month ever, because I'm putting the work back in. But if I had just let myself spiral down into that negative, oh, I knew this was too good to be true, or the steam is running out, and if I had blamed everything else and not looked at myself and changed what I was doing, then I wouldn't be having the good month that I'm having this month. And so I'm glad that I went into it with the mindset of, I'm in this for the long haul, because that's what kept me going.
And that is a really important thing to remember, you guys. It's still a job. You're the boss. You're an entrepreneur, which is amazing. But just because you're an entrepreneur doesn't mean you don't work. In fact, being an entrepreneur usually means you work harder than everybody and anybody. I love what I do, but I work 24/7. Again, I'm not complaining.
If I to work more than that, because if so, she does.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about it at all. I love it. And loving what you do makes it easier to work that way. But like, you have to put in the work. If you look at our CEO, if somebody works harder than me, it's him. The man never takes time off, but that's how it goes. So like, you can't think like, oh, because I'm an entrepreneur and I do this fitness business, I can work for 2 hours a day and I can have a full-time salary on a very part-time amount of effort. If you want a full-time salary, you have to work a full-time job. Like, the beauty is that you get to make the hours, so you can determine like, hey, I'm gonna get up and get my workout done before I start, or I'm gonna get up and take my kids to school, and then I'm gonna start my work, and I'm gonna get all my work in the 7 hours that my kids are at school, so that when they come home, I can hang with them. But the point is that you still have to put the work in. So I really think that that's a valuable thing to remember. And like Kaylee was saying is when things start to go down, you do have to look inward. And by the way, I could have told her that that was the reason, because it's very easy to be the outsider looking in and going, you're having a lot of fun this month. When you working, boo? But that's not my job, right? Like as her sister, my job is to support her and be there and love her, but be like, hey, you got to come to your own realization, because nobody wants to be told that you're slacking. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. And that goes for nutrition, and that goes for fitness and health too, right? Like you always got to guide them to look at themselves, but let them come to it. And that's important for you to remember as a coach, because you'll battle that with your challengers, where they'll be like, it doesn't work, the nutrition doesn't work, the da-da-da doesn't work. And you have to guide them to look at themselves. But you can't be like,
ask questions.
Yes.
Don't tell them. Don't give them the answers all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if it's like a matter of fact answer, give them the answer. But asking questions is what's so helpful to helping them figure it out for themselves. Like, how's that working for you? That's a really good question.
That's a great question. How's that working for you? Okay, maybe not in my sarcastic tone. Okay, we have questions coming in, so let me read through these a little bit, because I want to make sure this is part of the fun of this awesome group that we are doing. Let's see. About the program a lot. When I give them the info, never hear anything back, even when I ask them what they thought. Okay, so somebody's saying a lot of times she's giving out, like she gets asked about the program, tells them about the program, and then doesn't hear anything back. I'm going to say one thing, and then I'm going to let Kaylee tell you too. Okay. Depending on the program, it might be like, let's say somebody asks about 80-day obsession and says, like, what are you doing? And you tell them 80-day obsession, and there are these hour-long workouts and time nutrition. If somebody's like maybe just trying to get back to their fitness journey, that might sound really intimidating to them, and so they shut down and they don't respond. So I would say if you don't hear from them, my thought would be give them a few days. First of all, sometimes people need a little time, check their email, digest the information. But you can also reach out to them and be like, hey, I know you asked about 80-day obsession. And I know it's definitely an intermediate to advanced program. So if that sounds like it's maybe too much for you, I'd love to talk to you about some of our other programs that might be more up your alley. We have 21-day fix, we have PIO, we have da-da-da. And then you can give them like a very short description of it. And that might get their wheels turning again. Like, okay, I'm not ready for this, but hey, I love that you want to help me and offered me another solution.
Yeah, thoughts? First of all, yeah, she said a lot of what I would say. Okay. So that's all really great advice and what I try to do. Another thing that I try to do is I try to only give like a little bit of information so I don't completely overwhelm someone. And then I try to ask a lot of questions like, are you doing any kind of fitness and nutrition program? What are some of your goals? Or what are some of the obstacles you've encountered in the past when you've done things like this? So I can get some information from them kind of right out of the gate. That way, when I tell them more about 80-day obsession, I might also already have it in the back of my head, like, oh, but she hasn't worked out in 3 years. Let me just tell her about a little obsessed too, and be like, oh, but you know, it would be really fun to start with a little obsessed. Also, I try not to make it too like focused on just like 80-day obsession is like 6 workouts. They're different every week. Like, let me give you all these facts and information. I try to make it more like emotional, like if I was just telling my friend about it, like sitting, in a hotel room like we are right now, and just being like, oh my gosh, guess what I'm doing? This is so awesome. Like, if you guys go to my blog, coachkaylee.com/blog, and read my review of 80-day obsession, it's not about like, this is what 80-day obsession is. It's about, this is what 80-day obsession did for me. And it helps people connect to what they might get out of it. So I try to like share that piece more than just like the bullet points that you would pull off the Beachbody website. Because that's the thing. You have a personal story and a personal experience, and that's what they'll connect to.
Nice. You actually just led me to a question I want to ask you. I'm going to say it out loud so that we get to it, but I want to look at everybody else's questions. So I think a lot of new coaches especially see, and again, even some of our coaches that have been around for a while, look, there is new social media and technology coming out all the time. It's overwhelming. I know for myself, who is like technology illiterate, it drives me crazy because I can't keep up. Plus, I do 9 million things already in a day. So then I'm like, oh my God, and I need to get a blog post up because my website's sitting there like a lump on a log and I haven't done anything. So what I want to get to in a minute is like, it's overwhelming to feel like you have to do Instagram, and you have to do Instagram stories, and you have to do Facebook, and you need your own website, and you need your own blog, and you need your Snapchat, and you need 70,000 other things, and everything needs to be beautifully done and in perfect format and da-da. So I want to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Because that, my chest just tightened up just even saying it. So I was like, I got so much. Okay, but first I want to look at some people's questions. So just remind me to come back to that one. Okay. Okay. So many message. Okay. I think I answered that one, or we talked about, okay. Positive mindset is a good percentage of all success. That is true.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. I saw other questions. Definitely learned that one must reflect in order to change. I love that. Okay. I'm looking for ones that have a question mark at the end. Kaylee, what is your favorite current personal development?
Oh, well, Universe Has Your Back. Like my absolute favorite. But this is what I tell everybody. Read Universe Has Your Back first and then follow it up with May Cause Miracles, because it's like you get the whole mindset concept piece from Universe Has Your Back, and it gets you thinking. And then May Cause Miracles is more action oriented. It's like short bit of journaling in the morning, in the evening, and it helps you take everything from Universe Has Your Back and start applying it to your life. And I went through those 2 books while I was going through 80 Day Obsession, and it really helped me with the mindset piece. And honestly, I'm going to go back and read them both again because they're that good.
I have listened to, because I do my books on tape so that I have time, and I listen to them in the car, but I have listened to Universe Has Your Back probably like the entire book at least 10 times. Like whenever something starts to get hard or I start to get into a negative headspace, I go right back to it, because it's not a religious book. It's kind of a spiritual book, but it's about your own. It really comes down to believing in yourself. Like that's really the premise of the book. Yeah. But that is a great book, so I love that. Let's see where is this? Okay. So excited for this. Love it. Love it. How do you get people to invest in the challenge pack, as that's something I'm struggling with, even with a share a cart?
Okay. Well, I don't really use the share a cart that much, but
you better start using that feature.
I know. Well, because I talk to people so much that it's like I just send them the link to whatever they need. But yeah, I'll use share a cart. Okay. I'll start using it more.
She got busted on
my point is that because it's not about telling them what to buy. It's about, like, for me with the challenge pack, it's about showing them the value in what they're getting. And yeah, like share a card or sending them the link to the challenge pack makes it super easy for them. But first you have to explain the value to them. We were actually just doing a power hour, like a bunch of us in another room, and somebody was like, I don't understand why anybody would buy BOD and not buy it as a challenge pack. You get your Shakeology for like $20 or $30 more when it's normally, $100 more than that. So it's like, is that message being communicated to people, the value of a challenge pack? Because a lot of people go like, well, I'll just buy BOD, I don't want a challenge pack. Well, it's like, you're kind of like wasting your money if you do it that way. And I think it's the same with talking to people about coaching or being a discount coach too. I always talk about that right out of the gate, because especially if you're signing up for 80 Day Obsession and it's a long-term commitment, and then you're going to use like Energize, Hydrate, Recover, Shakeology, any combination of those things, why would you not sign up as a coach and get the discount? Because you're going to
if you're going to do nothing.
Even if you're not going to coach, because you're going to save so much money in the long run. You have to do the math for them, guys. Once you do it one time, put in the notes in your phone, and then every time you're talking to someone about it, be like, copy, paste, boom, look how much money you could save. I just want to make sure you knew about that. So now I always say to people like, oh yeah, in the beginning, I felt like people were going to think I was trying to push them to coach or try to just sell them. So I wouldn't say that. And one day I had a challenger be like, why didn't you tell me about that? Like, I could have been saving all this money every month. And she was annoyed at me. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a change your mindset. I'm not forcing something on them. I'm giving them all the information, and then they get to choose. But it's like, yeah, who doesn't want to save money?
Yeah. And especially depending on the types of programs that you're doing. Again, if we're talking about 80 Day Obsession, which we are, if they're brand new and they don't have loops and they don't have slides, first of all, you need loops and slides to do the program. Right. So if you're signing up for BOD, you need loops and slides. And there's time nutrition. So if they don't have a set of containers, they need a set of containers. And honestly, let's be realistic. I have like 4,000 sets of containers, and yet you never have enough, because my son takes them to school for lunch, and then I'm like, why don't I have any orange containers? Or where are all my yellows? Like, I'm constantly getting new sets of containers. Or like, whoops, that one fell through in the dishwasher and melted on the bottom like edge. So all of those things. And again, the performance line. can I tell you guys, when we actually first launched 80-Day Obsession, we launched the mega pack with all of the performance line, and we were like, the mega pack will probably do okay, but like that was a pricey pack. The mega pack crushed it, like to the point where we ran, you know how we do, we ran out of you know how we do. We we never we ran out to the point where they were like rush ordering our supplements in, and like we, instead of giving everything all at once, they were like dosing it out. Like, here's your first month's supply and the next one's coming because we're waiting for our shipment to come in, because the mega pack did so well, because people were like, yeah, if I'm committing, I need the loops, I need the slides, I want to use the performance line. If you're telling me it's going to help my body recover and help me see better results, I better use it. Like we're talking about Shakeology all the time, like all these things, the mega pack knocked it out of the park. So don't be afraid to share the value. Again, you guys, we know who we are. We know we are Team Beachbody. We are not ripping people off. We are not trying to be super salesy person. We are trying to help people get healthy and lead these healthy, fulfilling lives. And we're just trying to provide them with a solution. And it's not a shove it at you. It's not a force it on you. It's not you're going to fail if you don't do it this way. It's just we're trying to give you all the options. And again, if that comes from your heart of like, hey, I just want to help you. And any and all of it can help you. Just doing workouts, if you haven't been working out, that's going to help you. Changing your nutrition up, whether it's the containers, do your mindset or something, it's going to help you. You know, if you're going to be super sore because you haven't worked out in a while, the performance line is going to help. You don't have to do it, but it's going to help. So again, just like Haley said, sharing the value is super, super important. Okay, let's see if there's like any more questions. How long do you wait to reconnect with someone who reached out and seemed interested at first and then went silent?
I mean, it kind of depends on the nature of what you guys have talked about and how far you've gone in your conversation. But like, if I've sent someone a message and they haven't responded, you know, in the beginning, I'll usually wait like 3 or 4 days and then follow up with them, because people just get busy a lot of times. And I can't tell you how many people will message me even a month later and be like, sorry, it took me so long to respond to you. Like, I had whatever going on. So keep some kind of list. I'm a pen and paper girl, but you know, there's apps that you guys can use, there's spreadsheets that you can use, but keep a list of where you're at with people. And that way, if like in a month you're like, oh, I haven't heard from that girl, let me just go back and be like, hey, how you doing? I hope everything's okay. You don't have to go back and be like, hey, did you buy that challenge pack? Like, just go back and like say, hey, how are you? Like, we haven't talked in a month, and look at your past conversation. Like, put a little note in there about what you guys talked about or something. So, you know, initially 2, 3, 4 days, the beginning of the conversation. Then if you follow up and they still don't follow up, I maybe like bump them to the next month, and then I follow up each month, boom, until I get a yes or no.
Awesome. Love it. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take a few more questions. To attract so many new opportunities. Okay, so somebody's saying, I had such a crazy great transformation with 80-Day Obsession. I was convinced it was going to attract so many new opportunities, but it hasn't been as big of a response as I thought. I wonder if it's how I'm sharing my journey. So Kimberly, it could be a couple things. Like, first of all, maybe, but you have to, again, authentically share you, right? Can't be afraid to put it out there. Definitely want to share progress photos. Definitely want to share your ups and your downs, all of those things. But it might just take a little bit more time, right? Like, if it's getting a response, it's working. So don't, again, we get stuck on numbers all the time. Oh my God, I didn't get 10 people, I only got 2, it didn't work. Yeah, it did. That is 2 more people whose lives you are about to help change. And those 2 people are going to tell somebody. And then those other people are going to tell somebody. So don't be discouraged if it wasn't like 30 new people came flying at you all at once. But also, one thing I like to tell new coaches is you guys tend to get really stuck on like, okay, well, I shared my journey. When we have these big groups, or just go on Instagram, because if you look up the hashtag 80-Day Obsession, people have posted their transformations. I post tons of transformation photos. Share them. It doesn't just have to be your story, right? Because you're a coach, you're there to help a lot of different people. And while you're gonna find a certain tribe, maybe if you share somebody's photo who's older than you, somebody's photo who's younger than you, somebody's photo who had more weight to lose, somebody who had less weight, a guy's transformation. Like, don't be give credit, right? Say like, look at so-and-so's transformation. I wasn't their coach, but I think this is an amazing transformation that I wanted to share, and I can help coach you through that too. So like, there's a way to word it so it doesn't look like you're trying to snag somebody's challenger, or like trying to say like, I helped with this part. But I do think you can do that, where you can add more value to your story by saying, I'm not the only one. Look at all these other ones too. And again, it doesn't always have to just be your challenger, as long as you just acknowledge that this is so-and-so's transformation. No, I'm not their coach, but look how great the program is. I'm taking people through the journey. Do you want to join me?
Yeah, can I say something about that?
Yes.
Okay, because a lot of times objections I'll get from people, and this was one of my, like, when I started 4 years ago, like, I'd been a health coach for a long time, so I was in like decent shape, and it was like, I don't have a huge transformation story. I don't have a huge weight loss story, so I don't have like these powerful before and after pictures to show people and say, look how much weight I lost, so I can't be a coach, or I can't get new people to follow me. Like Autumn said, you have all these other stories that you can share, but it's not always just about that, the numbers or the weight loss. Like, there are a lot of people that want and need this journey for other reasons, for their health. Like, you can be skinny and not be healthy. You could maybe already be fit and all of that, but you need the confidence, or you need the discipline, or you're just looking for community of like-minded people. So make sure you're not just pushing one message. Like, look at how much weight I lost, look at how much weight I lost, or look at all the inches I lost. Like, look at just the outside. Like, make sure you're also incorporating other aspects of what you get out of this journey and out of this program, and share, like Autumn said, other people's stories on that piece as well, not just their physical transformations, but the other pieces.
And there are some incredible pieces, you guys. I had somebody come up to me at the pool yesterday, and she told me her story. I'm not naming names, but I will tell her story, and I'll actually probably post her story and do an interview with her at some point, because it's quite powerful. She has Parkinson's disease, and she lost 20 pounds with 80 Day Obsession, but not just the weight loss. Before she started her health and fitness journey, her tremors were there pretty much all the time. She was on her medications. I think she had said the entire left side of her body had basically like lost feeling. It was to the point where somebody would have to come in the room and dictate notes because she couldn't write anymore. And today, after getting her nutrition under control and starting to exercise and losing her, it wasn't about losing the weight. It was really more about taking care of her body and the fuel she was putting in and the exercise that she was doing. Her tremors, like, I didn't even notice them at all. I don't even know if she was having them at the pool. She's perfectly able to write. She's back to doing so much. She's standing in the pool with me, which means she's not numb on one side of her body anymore. That is an insanely powerful transformation. I had somebody else message me, and again, I'm not going to name names, and this is not a photo or a story I would post because it's not my story to share. But I had somebody say to me, I completed 80 Day Obsession, and on day 80, I left my abusive relationship. That is powerful. And again, that's that person's story to share. And you would want to ask permission if somebody had said, if tells you that or shares that themselves. But that is powerful. It's not always just about what happens. Do you have a six pack? Do you have a good booty? There's so many other things that happen. So if you can share those too, right, as long as you have permission to share it, that's pretty powerful, and that might resonate with somebody without you even realizing like that's what they're looking for. So don't be afraid, especially if you were in my original this past group that we did with 43,000 people. If you were in that group, there's tons of before and afters. People's stories are in there. They post knowing that their stuff can be shared. So like, go in there, group's still open, grab it if you've been in there. If not, like you said, go on Instagram, find the post, because if the post is up, that means somebody's not afraid to share it, and just make sure you give them credit. That's all. Okay, I'm gonna do one more question on here, and let's see. Okay. Oh wait, let's go back to what was I saying about all the different apps that you have to have, and
do I have to do all?
Yeah. Let's talk about that, especially as like getting started, or even staying in the business. Like, how many things do you really have to run at once before you lose your mind? And it stops being effective because you're not being effective anywhere because you have too many things.
Yeah. So, okay. And I was one of those people in the past in my business that quit a lot of times because it was just overwhelming, because I thought I had to put a blog post up, at least 3 times a week. And I had to post everything on Instagram and Facebook. And, oh, there's a theory and you're supposed to post 3 times a day, 1 inspirational thing, 1 food picture, 1 workout picture. Okay. And I have all these things I have to do. Check, 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 check. I'm exhausted. I'm doing all this stuff and it's not working. So what do I do right now? Yeah, I have a website and a blog. Go look at my blog. I think it's been like 3 weeks since I updated it. Still, the stuff that's there is there and it's helpful. And it only takes like 1 post maybe to help people. You don't have to have a website or a blog though. Like maybe you write down like your 80-day obsession journey and you journal about it as you go. You might do it in the notes on your phone. You might record little videos that you can share on whatever platform you decide to use. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be perfect. I suck at design stuff. I'm not good at like putting memes and all that stuff together.
That will come later from a different coach.
Yep. I'm not on that topic because I don't do it because I can't. I could if I really wanted to, I guess, but I don't have time for that right now. But it's about just getting the message out there. So like I literally use Instagram and I do have a website. The thing that's helping to drive my business the most is that I shared my journey. So maybe you guys treat your Instagram story like a video journal as you're going through your 80-day obsession. And like every day after your workout or whatever, at the end of the day, you're like, this is what I got out of it today. Or, there's a million ways to do it. You just have to pick what you have time for and what works for you. So I literally use Instagram story, and I do have a blog, but I don't update it very often. I update it when I have something to say. So I wrote my 80-day obsession review of everything that I experienced, and then I used a Wufoo form at the bottom. I personally love Wufoo forms. So can I tell them about Wufoo forms?
Yeah.
So I think a tool that's really effective is Wufoo. It's free. You create a form. You can put it as the link in your profile if you use Instagram, or you can put it the link that they'll give you in Facebook posts. You could embed it into blog posts or onto a website. So you can use it on lots of different platforms, whatever you figure out that works for you. My advice is to pick 1 or 2 things and focus on those. Do them well, do them amazing. Don't try to do everything. But the Wufoo form gives you a way to connect with people. And it, more importantly, gives them a way to reach out to you, and it takes a lot of the fear and guesswork out of it. Because if you're just like, message me, someone might be intimidated. Like maybe they're watching your journey, they're watching you grow, and they have you up on a pedestal. They might feel uncomfortable, like, what do I say to her? I don't know what to say. Like, you just give them a form to fill out, because that's easy, and they don't have to think about it at all. It's just like, if you want more information, click on this link and fill out my form. And you can ask them whatever questions you want. Like, what are your goals? What programs have you done? And then it collects all that information for you. You can use it in a million ways, but it's a free tool, and it makes it really easy for people to kind of fill out a little application to get more information. And you have all that filed away.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up a little bit. So I asked Kaylee before we did the interview, I asked her about a week or 2 ago, so she had time to think about this. I asked her for her 5 tips for, this is, again, it's for new coaches, but again, maybe a coach that's been in this for a while that feels like the business has shifted. Maybe you feel like a new coach all over again. So these are her 5 tips on sort of what she's done to get started and get her business moving in the right direction. So I'm going to sort of say the short version and you can expand on it.
Okay.
So her first tip was to follow those that inspire you, but don't imitate them.
Yeah, which I kind of talked about a little bit at the beginning. I have my little notes here. But it's be authentically you. That's how you attract your tribe. And that's how you share and not sell, which is what we want to do. Like when people feel like they're being sold to, that's a turnoff. But if they feel like you're just genuinely sharing, then that's something that they can connect with. But you have to be authentically you to attract the people and the group that's going to light you up and that's going to make you want to show up on the hard days. And yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit too, because I told you guys a little bit about my journey. But yeah, it takes time to not just grow your team, but to create momentum. So people are watching, and it might take them, like Autumn said earlier, it might take them a week, a month, or a year to trust you, to get up the courage to reach out to you, to get to a place in their own life or their own journey where they're actually ready for this. So you have to go into it with a long-term mindset. You're going to have good weeks and bad weeks, good months and bad months. And it's just like your fitness journey, though. You have to decide to show up every day and put in the work. The momentum is building. On those slow months, honestly, like even though last month I said it was a slow month for me, I kicked it into high gear at the end, and it was the work I did at the very end when I was like, oh crap, what am I doing? Stuff's not going well. That was the foundation for things to go really well the following month. So you just have to show up every day, put in the work, and know and believe with all of your heart that it's gonna happen if you just don't quit. Just keep going.
Okay. Your third tip was to have an I am willing mindset.
Yeah, this was from one of my personal developments that I was listening to. I feel like I can't say the name of the book on here because it's a cuss word, but it's Un-F Yourself.
Oh,
okay. That's what the book's called, and it's this Scottish author, and I'm listening to it on Audible, and it's really fun to listen to because of his accent. But he says, have an I am willing mindset. And so, like, for me, kind of my little mantra that I say to myself is like, I am willing to be vulnerable. I am willing to hear no. I am willing to invest my time. I am willing to face setbacks. I am willing to receive. Like, I am willing to make money. That, I don't know why, a lot of people have this like block, and I was one of them, to making money. I think I used to think like, I should just help people. Like, I genuinely, truly, with all my heart, want people to be healthy and well and to experience what I experienced when I went on my health journey. And so I had this block that like, if I made money off of that, somehow it undermined it. But then someone said last night, it takes a lot of work to help someone change their life. And it's my job. I'm choosing it as my career. Yes, I would do it for free, I feel like, but it's okay to make money off it. So I am willing to receive.
Okay. Love that. That's a very big one. Treat everyone like they are your best friend. I like this one.
Yeah, so just speak from the heart. Listen to people. A lot of times we have these like checklists of what we have to do to be successful in the business, and we're focused on the business, and we stop listening to people. We stop hearing what they're saying and miss the opportunity to really connect with them. So I just try to think about that with my challengers. Like, most of them do become my friends because you are listening to each other and people are sharing vulnerable things. The biggest thing that holds people back from their nutrition and their fitness is mindset and emotional things that are happening in their life. So if you're not taking the time to listen to that and to connect with them on that, you're not going to be able to help them be successful in their fitness journey. So, and when you're talking to them, if you think about them like your best friend, first of all, it takes out some of the intimidation. Like, when I go live on Instagram story, I like imagine I'm talking to Autumn or somebody else I'm very comfortable with. And I don't think about all the people that are out there. It just makes it more passionate and real and authentic and genuine.
Cool. And the last one that you had was to embrace the learning curve.
Yeah, and so by that, I literally just mean like, you're not going to know everything right out of the gate. You guys are new coaches. I'm still a new coach. Someone asked me the other day, like, what % commission do I make on this challenge pack? Oh, I don't know, but I'll find out. Like, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. It's okay to not have all the answers right out of the gate. There is a learning curve. And to have coaches under you, like, I remember thinking like, well, I got to figure all this out before I can help a coach. Like, I don't know how to tell someone to get to diamond. I haven't hit diamond yet, but I can still go out and I can ask other coaches. I can ask someone to come in my group and like speak to people. I can go out and get the information for myself and for them. And as I learn and I grow, then I share. But when they ask me questions, we all get to learn together. So you're sometimes have to think about it like, just like in my accountability group, I think like, I don't have to have all the answers, but I have to like cheer them on and help them and support them and encourage them. It's kind of what you're doing even in your coaching business and with coaches. So don't be afraid to say, I don't know. It's just an opportunity for you to learn something new.
Awesome, you guys. So I think this has been a really great first start to kicking off our group. Obviously, we have day one, so tomorrow is your day one workout. Make sure you've done the nutrition, you've done your formula calculation. I'll be talking more about the workout part as well as the nutrition part when we get started tomorrow, just so you guys know. Like, there will be other videos from me during the week. As you guys know, this is an admin only posting group, which means you guys can post questions on my videos, but it's not going to be a free-for-all where everybody can post. I did that for a reason, because I really want this to be a learning group. I want you guys to come in, get the information, and get back to work. I did promise that there would be little assignments every single week, and that if you participate, you can win a really cool prize.
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna stop it there. This is an awesome video, so I hope you watched it all. I hope you got some awesome takeaways, and I'm excited to share. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to end my screen share. And I'm excited to share with you guys more of the videos as the weeks come. I think they'll be super helpful. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, you guys. And if Autumn ever does like any little assignments or anything like that that I think you guys will benefit from, I will totally post those too. I look really weird right now in this lighting. Okay, bye guys.